radio.
I live in Colorado now. I'm from San Diego originally. I was born in Imperial, and then we moved up to La Jolla like when I was like in middle school. So that was cool. But I went to college in Ohio, and I lived there for like 5 years. So I have this like love for the Midwest. That's how I got into jam scene.
I don't know if I read or heard somewhere. Were your folks deadheads?
Yeah, they're huge deadheads. My dad, I think, followed them from like 86 to like when Jerry died, and he also followed Phish pretty closely because he was living in Maine, in like 91, 92. So he was like at all those like backyard shows and like farm shows and college shows. But I actually never heard him talk about Phish until I got into Goose. It was funny. Like my parents were playing me the Dead my whole life, and I always hated it until I got to college. Did some like partook in some things that made me realize the Dead was good. And then it was the rest of history, right? But like a Goose was definitely mine. My parents never like got me into Goose, and I think that's why it was so special to me because it was like I finally had something that was like mine,
right?
Not like passed down to me.
I was that same way with Panic. My dad was a screen printer, and he had a relationship with Widespread Panic early on. He had done like some t-shirt designs ages ago, and ended up selling the designs to them as they grew. But Panic was my thing. He wasn't. I don't know that he was necessarily into him as much as he was the Dead, but I claimed Panic as my own before I got into Phish and Goose and a bunch of other stuff. But
yeah.
Did your folks did you ever go to a Dead show with your dad or anything like that?
Well, they have this like incredible cover band in California. And he's been going to that, I think, for like 17 or 18 years. Every Monday night they play. They're called Electric Waistband. People like know them. They played with Bobby actually one time. Like they're pretty like known in like the Dead cover scene. So he goes there every Monday night. He doesn't travel for music anymore. He was pretty anti-Dead and Co, because I've heard them play. Like the Waistband, they've been playing together for like 32 years, almost as long as Phish. So they're really, really good. They've been playing together since like the 80s. So he doesn't travel. I've been trying to get him to he won't even drive 5 hours, for Phish Sphere. Like, it's really quite annoying. But I think I'm finally going to go to a real show with him that's not a local show, in August when Goose comes to San Diego again. I'm kind of bummed they're not playing like a GA, floor venue because, like, everyone in San Diego loves to dance. They have that great, like, Rady Shell venue in San Diego now, and Mount Joy just played there, and Gizzard just played there, and I thought, like, for sure Goose was going to play there, but no. It's like the coolest venue for Goose too. It looks like a shell. It's right on the water, looking at all the lights. It's like people could watch it for free, across in like Coronado. So I think they really need to play there, but they keep playing seats. And so I'm not super thrilled for that, but I'm excited to finally see Goose with my parents.
And this is in San Diego, you said?
Yeah, in San Diego. I've never had a hometown show from them, so I'm excited. I follow them everywhere.
I had to go out there one time for work, and I think I was there like a week. I just started with this company, and we were like training and all this shit. But when we were done for the day, I would go for like super long walks. Man, that is a super expensive place, but God, it's so beautiful out there. Jesus.
I know. It's so beautiful. I know. I'm really lucky that I get to go back and visit my parents there. But yeah, I definitely can't live there anytime soon by myself.
All right, let's nerd out on Goose for a minute. And I want to say something that's been bothering me, or that continues to bother me about people reacting to Goose. You've not heard Goose if you've not been to a show. And
yes, absolutely.
The energy at those fucking shows is incredible. And I love Panic. But they've been playing for 40 years, and not that the scene has died off, but it's a little older crowd. I saw them at Pullman Yards in Atlanta in 2022. It was my first time seeing them. Slow Ready was kind of my jam, and they hit us with this encore night one, the Slow Ready. But the electricity in those rooms is fucking incredible. When was the first time you saw them?
I saw them at the Masonic Temple in 2023, so I feel like people would still call me a noob. But again, it was the same way. I never had so much dancing space, even though it was a small venue. So much dancing space, everybody dancing. I never been in a room with every single person like going as hard as me.
Oh, yeah.
And you can still see it. Like I go to Phish, I go to other jam bands, and it's never like it's mostly people standing around and then like. I'm dancing crazy, but like Goose, everybody's dancing crazy. And I see it on the streams, like I see everywhere. And that's a lot of people's complaints about Goose. They're like, oh, no one's dancing. I'm like, have you been to a show? Just look at one of their streams. Like everybody in that crowd is moving so much. And it's only gotten like better.
No doubt.
It's only gotten more.
And the fact that they've been playing together for a while, but from my vantage point, they came out of COVID on fire. I don't know who they had on their team doing social media, but they were like streaming and stuff during COVID. But like the lights are tight, the fucking music is tight. I was instantly drawn in. And people that say that like they'll listen to them at home or in the car or something, you got to go to a show.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hated them when I first heard them in the car. I was like, get this shit off. Put on the bed. I mean, I was like, oh, this Arcadia song's kind of catchy, but like this guy's voice sucks. Like literally like, and then I went to my first show. I was like, oh my God, he's the most beautiful angel. And the lights were so cool. That old like diamond light rig with the rainbows that they used to have. I had never seen anything like it in my life. It was so cool.
Yeah. You were already a Phish girl at that point, is that right?
No. Actually, my first Phish show was a couple weeks after my first Goose show. And I mean, my dad had played like Kunja for me a couple of times. I thought it was horrific.
Yeah.
I never was like into Phish. I finally had gotten into the Dead. I went to my first Dead & Co show, and that's how kind of my friends and I got into the scene. You know, we started going to like Mo, like any kind of jam show we could that was like local in the Columbus area. Mm-hmm. And then that's how he found Goose. He like went to a Goose show without us, and then my friend was like, "Oh, this song, like this band is so good!" Like, and he would always play it, and I would be like, "Get this shit off!" But until I saw them, then it was all over.
I saw them last at. They came and played. So there's a new venue in Huntsville, Alabama called the Orion. It's like I don't know if you've been there, but it's kind of like a Greek theater kind of outdoor thing. It's really cool, but it was really hot. Had a good time, but yeah, I'm the same way. I think when Jerry died, people kind of picked sides and went either Panic or Phish, and I went the Panic route. But so I was kind of a late Phish bloomer too. But
yeah. I mean, and I'm definitely still late in this. I've only done like 5 Phish shows, but each has been impactful on me in like better or for worse, right? Because I found Goose, so it's like all my money's going to Goose anyway. And Phish is also like was more expensive than Goose for a while. Now it's kind of caught up.
Tell me about the Sphere. I haven't been there yet, and how was that whole run?
I mean, those were definitely the best Phish shows I've ever heard. They're the only Phish shows eventually that have like touched Goose at all, and they were incredible. Like what Mike was doing, everyone was so on. They were so locked in. The visuals were really cool, but like I was on the floor, so like some of them were like a little bit cheesy, like just because the graphics, you know, they don't show up well on the floor. Obviously, like that's not what you're on the floor for. But like they looked really good through my phone screen, so I got some really cool videos. But yeah, I mean, I love the Sphere. There was definitely really good energy in there amongst the people. Like, you know, people are really cool.
What was Is there? I heard someone say that it doesn't look like it from the upper balcony, but is there a light rig on stage at all for those guys or no?
No, and it's so surprising because I think that that's what they should do with that venue. Like they should make some kind of like light rig prism because that would be way cooler.
Right.
So like I saw all these like incredible videos of the corridor lights from like up. So I'm sure like that stuff looked great, but like those were the visuals on the floor that really like didn't hit at all. Like all the animations and stuff were fine for us, but once the corridor lights came, they just looked really pixelated and like they were on a screen. So, but I mean, they looked like, you know, phenomenal. Like you were in outer space if you were like in the seats.
I've been wondering that, like how much time CK5 had to spend like learning that whole system. I'm sure he's used to doing it a certain way. That's got to be a whole nother animal.
Yeah, no, I was wondering too because I saw those like first posts from the first weekend where people were like, oh, they gave like him the keys to the Sphere, and I was like, is there a light rig in there? Because that's what it looked like, but it actually is just on a screen, and it's like 3D from the top, but on the floor it's like if you didn't have 3D glasses at a 3D movie. So it's just different perspective.
Were you drinking at all?
Yeah, I had like one like cocktail a night, like someone would offer me. I should have been, you know, I usually party at shows, but the Sphere I didn't feel compelled to.
Yeah.
And I didn't really need to because it was just a lot. And I was also just like in an environment I didn't know, like in a scene I didn't know. So like that's also like kind of how I judge things. But I mean, I didn't really need to. It's pretty crazy shows.
I was asking because I was wondering how like being enveloped in that like overstimulation, like would that make you sick?
Yeah.
Or, like, how would that feel?
Well, yes, actually. I mean, I had like a couple drinks, and I don't necessarily think there were just sometimes I would get a little vertigo, and I kind of had to go on the ground, like kind of touch the floor, and like stop. Like, and it wasn't like, it didn't feel like the world was spinning or anything, but I would get dizzy, like by looking up. I don't know.
Just almost.
I would definitely, I would go on the floor sometimes. I just needed to. Sorry, yeah. Or what I was gonna say.
So I haven't met too many Goose songs that I don't like, but when you went for your talking about your first show at the Masonic Temple, were there any songs in particular that kind of drew you in, or any favorites of theirs in general that you really, really like?
Yeah, so I mean, I got a Turbulence opener, which is like very awesome, very coveted. I didn't know. I thought it was very like, we'd been to so many jam shows, and that was the first time that like I had heard a song that I was like, wait, I really like this song from this band I've never like heard, been to before, right? Like normally it's like I like the jams, but like I was liking the song, and I was like, this is cool. And then they played the Whales, which I completely forgot. And my friend was always hated the Whales, and I was like, what is the Whales? And he said, you got it at your first show, and I never knew when I got the Whales. But they played a pretty good one in Milwaukee, but that was Wisteria. So the third song they played is Wisteria, and that would be crazy now if they like had the first set Wisteria. And that is what completely changed my life. That song, I mean, it was so good. The jam was insane. The lights were insane. It was what they posted on YouTube the day after. So it was clearly like the highlight of that show. It was like a 24-minute Wisteria. It was pretty special.
Wisteria.
So, that's definitely what drew me in. And Redbird too. Redbird I was listening to a lot after
Thank you.
That for sure.
That song, I love that song. And it's
so beautiful, yeah.
I went through a divorce a couple years ago, and it's one of those songs that's just like, but
definitely, it's a very magical song. I got it again at the Hamptons. So I was just like, I loved that song so much. It was definitely like the first song of theirs that I was like listening to like on repeat.
There's a few that I group in there with Wisteria, and I don't mean to do this in my own mind, but there's certain songs I put in different buckets, and like Wisteria.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For me, Wisteria, Creatures, Echo of a Rose, like I don't know, there's something about that family of songs that are very beautiful. And if people pay attention, and I've started like on your phone, you can hit the little that little bubble, the word bubble, and you can follow the lyrics. Rick writes some really interesting lyrics. He's a really good storyteller.
Yes, and that's why I'm always just so like, I'm just so like flabbergasted by all the hate like that they get, because it's like this songwriting is incredible. I mean, the lyrics are incredible. It's just straight poetry. And people always say, oh, it's so accessible, it's so catchy, but I don't really think that's a bad thing. The Beatles were accessible and catchy, and they were still doing like innovative shit. Totally. Right? Like, not to compare Goose to the Beatles, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, I just think like I just connected with the jam so much more because I love the songs and I love the vocals. It was just like, they really have something magical going for them that no one else I've seen does. In that regard. And you got
to meet Rick. I saw you posted a photo. Were your knees shaking?
I stalked him actually. I had information. Well, I did basically. That was like when I first got on the bus. So like I started in Pittsburgh, and I intended to do Pittsburgh to Cincy, and then Cincy was so good that my friends were like, "Oh, you should really come to DC." And I was like, okay. And I like made my professor like let me like take the test early. So like went back to school, I took a test, then off to DC. And so I was at this point, I was like, I deserve to meet Rick. Because I met like all the other ones that weekend. And I was like, I deserve to meet Rick. Like, he's the only one I want to meet. Like, why have I met them all, but not Rick. So like the one I'm like madly in love with. So I hear that he's in this hotel. Like, she's like, bro, Rick is staying in my hotel. So me and this other girl who really wanted to meet Trevor, we go and we just basically like stake out the lobby. But the funniest part about this is like right before I met Rick, I was in the elevator like loudly praying to meet Rick. I was like, Rick, God, please just let me talk to him. Just let me see him, like really loudly. And then the elevator doors open and it's Jeff. And he totally fucking heard me. He's giving me like the weirdest look, and I'm just like, oh, hey. He's like, hey. And then I go to the lobby. I see Rick. Like, my friend fell asleep while we were waiting. and I see Rick, and I had a little letter for him, but I never actually let him have the letter. I wrote the letter at 3 a.m. the night before, and I never gave it to him because I was too embarrassed.
Yeah.
But I drew all this art all over the envelope. So I just gave him the envelope. I was like, there was no like paper in my Airbnb, but here's this envelope. Like, drew you more art. Because I really wanted to make a poster for them. So like, I had thrown this like Frisbee at him with art on it like 6 months before, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? So he never took me up on that. But I like met him, I talked to him. He said, wow, I love your outfit. And I was like, oh my God, like, I just couldn't stop looking in his eyes. And then my friend took like the worst photo of us, like the worst lighting. But then I took a photo of him and Rick, and it's like the best lighting ever. So like I always get mad when I see that photo of him and Rick. And I'm like, why couldn't you just give me the good lighting? Like, what the hell?
Was he?
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Was he super gracious?
He was so gracious, so kind. Like, he knew I was this excited little girl. Like,
yeah.
And he was really, really kind. He had just gone out of the shower, you know, I kind of ambushed him, and he was really, really sweet about it. And I was clearly like staking out his hotel, like a crazy person. Hey, it worked.
You got to do it sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get to go to Gonzo last year?
I did. It was awesome. It was so cool. I mean, we basically flew. Our friend offered us a ticket and an Airbnb. So we were like, okay, we just need one more ticket and to get down there somehow. Because my parents live in San Diego, we were like, we can just drive to San Diego from like Indiana, then fly from Tijuana. And that was awesome. Those flights are like $65 a pop. So we did that, and that was great. And all the stuff in Mexico, like once you got down there, you know, was really cheap. So it was like so magical, so doable, such like a family event, you know. It was like so many believers, like so many like Goose fans, like real ass Goose fans, like diehards in one place concentrated. Like the energy was just so unmatched.
Yeah, I want to say I remember them, like they seem super accessible on that trip, like doing like beach runs and like all different kind of side stage stuff. Any highlights for you from that trip?
They did a lot. They did like volleyball with Cotter. Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't.
I'm kidding.
I was kind of like at that point, I was kind of scared because I done the whole February tour, and that like got me really close with them. So like I was like at that point, like, oh, I don't want to go up to them and bother them, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I ended up sleeping through most of the stuff that everybody was going to, unfortunately. I remember we were just chilling at like a pool or whatever, and then we'd go down in the day and dance our hearts out. I mean, I always wanted to be in the front, right? So like that required me to not engage in any other activities, but being in the front. So like every day they would let the rail riders started doing this thing where we'd be like, oh, we want to buy merch. And then they'd let us into the festival grounds early. And then we all just go wait to get in and not buy merch. So then they like would put us under a tree, or they'd put us behind the cornfields, or they just started putting us like front row people in a certain area where we could wait. And that was pretty fun because I was like with my friends, everyone I know, in a beautiful place. We're all just like smoking, talking. But like, yeah, I definitely like next time I go to Gonzo, I'm going to partake in more festival activities, because I would like look back and be like, wow, like they did this. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I did get some really magical experiences, especially dancing in the front and that acoustic set. Like, I had I was bawling my eyes out. It was awesome.
we had tickets to go see them, or excuse me, a Rebelo in Boulder, and ended up not being able to make it. Had to sell the tickets. I was so distraught. I was really looking forward to that.
Rebelo was so magical, dude. I saw them once at summer camp. Probably the last summer camp, I don't know, but it was the most magical show ever. It felt like a dead show. That was my first one where I was like, I'm on a lot of acid, but I look out at all these like hippies all crowded in here, and the sun's going down on Rick. Like he looks like an icon.
he's an amazing guitar player. That dude.
It's magic, yeah. And I mean, the Rebelo versions of songs are my favorite to go back and listen to. I mean, there's like the drip feel. It's just so cool. I've never heard anything like it.
What's your take on, do you feel like it was a palpable difference after they got rid of Ben and Jeff? Did you feel anything change with the band?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a big evolution, kind of. That started with Ben leaving, right? Because that kind of, I mean, the transformation of the band, he'd been with them for like 10 years since the beginning, like founding member, like. So they kind of, you know, had a point where it's like, it's going to become new, obviously. And I'm not as familiar with Ben because I only saw him like 3 times, but I actually got the stick from his last show, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool.
But I mean, What I do know is that when I was talking to people at the Hampton and stuff, like people would always be like, those three guys in the front are irreplaceable. Those three guys are rock stars. No one would ever talk about the percussion. Like the percussion was never what someone is talking about coming out of the show, or it's always like Rick, Peter, and Trevor. Mm-hmm. And Cotter has that like star quality about him where he's like his own separate character too. Because, you know, like Rick is like the Zen guitarist, and Peter's like goofy, and Trevor's like stoic. And like Cotter, he's wild, dude. He made them so much cooler just by association.
Yeah.
They all started dressing better. Like he had that. And once they brought him up front and we all get to know him, you know, that was really what changed the nature of their jamming. And I think ultimately, you know, Jeff had already made the decision that he was going to leave the band at that point, even when they changed the stage setup. Mm-hmm. Because they were literally like hiding him, right? But the funny thing about Jeff is I actually didn't know he was in the band until my second show. I was like on Peter's side, and I was really like, I'm really short, so I was kind of like 8 rows back. Like I thought they only had one percussionist, and so I went to the Hampton and we got in early, and I was like, who's sitting in? Like, what's this other drum set? And my friend's like, what? You didn't know they had 2 drummers? Like, what the fuck? So I guess I predicted 4-piece Goose in a way.
But then he was in a Rebel-O too, so I don't know. It was that whole thing.
Yeah, that's what really sucked, because he was so good in a Rebel-O. He was so good in a Rebel-O. I think, you know, I just feel bad for him, because honestly, like, I mean, people like to say like the Iguana song is kind of like about him and his struggles, and yeah, it must have sucked like to be like a talking piece like that, to have everyone talking shit about you constantly and making fun of you and feeling like you're not contributing.
Yeah.
But like I think also it's just they kept giving him like more shit to do. Like when you look back at videos in like 2020, you know, he had like just like bongos. And like now, you know, he had the whole gong, the chimes, like everything, the bean cans, the guitar, like they just kept giving him more stuff to do. And what changed when they got rid of him was like they didn't have to worry about that element. Like Rick didn't have to look back at Jeff anymore. They're in a line. And they're all looking at each other. They're all like really, really tight, really locked in a way that they never were with him. Just because I think it's like one less person to like worry about what they're going to do in the jam. And especially Jeff, I think he was a bit unpredictable. So like, I think like it kind of happened the way it needed to, even if it was like, I mean, it's really sucky to like lose 2 percussionists like 1 year after the other, right? Like that is a horrible, and like right before their tour. I mean, we were about to do these 8 shows in a row. 3 days before the tour, they were kicking out Jeff. I was really concerned. I was like, what the hell? And then when we first heard them play, even like the first song in Milwaukee, we were like, oh, this band has been practicing without Jeff like for a while. Like they were completely like in tune. He had probably gotten kicked out like way, you know, they'd probably known that New Year's was going to be his last show. Like I think like this was all in the works, and it kind of just like they did this last minute announcement for some fucking reason. Yeah. And I think that's probably why Jeff like felt the need to like, you know, speak up about how he was treated and stuff.
We saw them at the Fox Theater in Atlanta. It was our first Cotter show. Okay. And I remember thinking, oh, this guy's he's a good fucking drummer. This guy's got his shit together.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't talk about that. Like, when I first realized that Cotter was different, sorry, I was talking too much about Jeff.
No, you're good.
So, Cotter became this, like, percussive presence. I was suddenly listening to Thatch, and I noticed the drums.
Yes.
I was listening to Empress, and I noticed the drums. And I was like, whoa, you know, like this is a new drummer that we're dealing with here. And he's fast and he's like driving these jams. And I mean, yeah. And that was like even before, you know, like what they did when they changed this after the stage setup and it was like Florida shows later that year, insanity. After they changed that setup. So it was really just like about Cotter and putting Cotter in like the right place. Because he really did change that band.
Yeah, yeah. And the little raccoon hat, you know, the Daniel Boone. You gotta love it.
Yeah, no, I think I met the guy that like gave that to him or something at some point. I always meet people that like have some kind of thing, kind of story. Sick.
All right, so I'm going to tie these two things together, but I want to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. So people know you from the videos. I love the videos that you put out. I've got 2 daughters.
Oh, thank you.
I've got a son. I think it empowers women to express themselves. We'll get into that in a minute.
Aww.
But you do a really good job, and I'm not judging. I just, from my perspective, you do a really good job of channeling like the feeling of a show on the videos that you make. And I was going to ask you, are there any songs? It could be Phish, it could be Goose, whoever, any songs that like really like you turn up to?
So I would say like probably like Thatch and Dripfield. I mean, I think Thatch was the first one that got me moving like nothing else.
back on my feet. Gonna turn my steps to the light, through the trees. Tree, pulling from a deep well. But the bird don't sing, the bird don't tell. Is it all a vision? Is it all a vision? Can I raise it up? Can I have some fun? Can I take it off slow? Run it off like hell? Can I find out what's at the bottom of the well? Instead, but is it on your lip? Sipping weight on it. Is it a little bit fucked? Did the rock come loose? Did you change your mind? Or did it change you? Better turn it up some. You better turn it up some. You better take that hill, grab the flag and run.
And I chased it for a year. I got it from the Rebel, but I chased it for a year. And when I first got it,
you went ham.
At the Salt Shed, I never fucking danced harder in my life. And I've never danced harder in my life than the one that they played in Grand Rapids. I mean, that was like the best Thatch I've ever heard.
What year was that?
And I mean, that whole room was moving. And then they did the Madhuvan right after. It was just like an incredible show.
What year was that in Grand Rapids?
That was 25. That was last year, last February.
Whew.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. But I would say, yeah, and then Drip Field. So for those both songs, I've like made it kind of a thing where I like wheeled my fan during those songs. I don't dance with my fan like during any other songs, but during Drip Field and Thatch, I'm like, all right, fuck you people in the back. I'm fucking wielding my fan. And no one actually cares. Like, the van likes it a lot. I mean, Peter likes it a lot. So I'm always doing it.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I had written down, this is exactly what I wrote down. Let's talk about the fan. And then in bold letters, I wrote next level. My girlfriend is a fan girl. And I think it's super classy, and sometimes it's fucking hot on the floor. But
yes, you need one.
Yeah, but you took that shit to another level. Like dancing with a fan is like next level shit.
Yeah, and it really was just something I kind of picked up. I think the first time I really did it was in Cincinnati for the Thatch, And then it kind of became like my thing during Thatch and Dripfield as well, just because it was so like fun to dance with a fan during Dripfield.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I also obviously I got comments like, put the fan down in the front, like, but like, I don't know.
Whatever.
I thought it looked pretty cool on the streams.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I paid for this ticket just like you.
Yeah. So, I mean, dancing with the fan, yeah, it was just something I like picked up, and I really like dancing with things. Like I started dancing with my flower crown. That's like kind of like my flow, and it's really, really cool. It really connects me to the music.
So on the other end of the spectrum, and you and I were texting about this earlier, songs that make you emotional. And I was sharing with you, and I don't know if I don't know what you're going to say. We didn't get this far, but Seekers 1 and 2. For me, the transition out of Seekers 1 into 2 fucks me up every time. I tear up every time I hear it because it's so beautiful. The tempo change into that song. But are there any songs, any artists that really, you tear up to or have like a special meaning?
Yeah, definitely El Meg. I've never cried harder than, like, I don't even think I've cried harder in my life than that El Meg and the Man. I mean, I was sobbing. I couldn't move. I was just sobbing. Goose has definitely made me cry. There were always these specific moments during the show where they'd do something really special, pull tears from my eyes.
Yeah.
But I was sobbing to the Elmeg, and also I would say Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, and Dim Lights. Ooh. Dim Lights. Yeah, it's just it has a lot of emotional weight for me, just because Goose has kind of carried me through this, through my social life. It was so impactful on my life and how it turned out, and all these moments that were happening while the Goose shows were going on, where it's I have these associations now with certain songs like Dim Lights or Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, or
totally.
But definitely the Elmeg, because I only, I got my first Elmeg and I did at the Pittsburgh in 24, and I didn't even know it was a song. I was learning Goose songs by going to shows. I wasn't I'm bad at listening to new songs. So I heard Elmeg for the first time and it made me cry. And that's when I got on the bus, and I didn't miss 18 fucking shows in a row after that Elmeg. And and then the man, I was wait, I'm in the state of Pennsylvania again, getting an Elmeg. The last time I got an Elmeg, I was in the state of Pennsylvania in Pittsburgh. It's I followed Goose from one side of Pennsylvania to the other, and I'm getting this Elmeg, and I think that's what I was so much of my life has changed since my first Elmeg. It was too much.
Yeah. No, I get it.
It was too much.
Well, and I can tell that you love the music, and that kind of segues into what made you start doing the dance videos. I find them super entertaining. My show is all about music usually. I mean, I'll have some interviews on other stuff that interests me, but you got to really love the music. What made you do that? And was that in 24 when you started doing that on social media?
Well, no, actually, I think I really started doing it consistently in 2023.
Okay.
And I was, where I started following jam bands, and I had really music is starting to become it's or live music is starting to become this really important force in my life. And I was just dancing to 80s songs, because everyone on TikTok dances to trending songs.
Right.
And I was fuck that. So I would never get any views. I would usually get 200 views for the first year I was doing this. And I would dance to both Goose, Phish. Phish would get no views. Now it's if I want views, I have to dance to Phish. So it's definitely changed.
Interesting.
But at this time, I was 2023, I was dancing. I would just be, doing a paper or something and procrastinating. So I'd go in my college bathroom and dance, or go outside and dance. And that's when I started doing the dancing videos. And then I started doing them, as in front of every venue that I went to. I would start doing a dancing video. That was really fun. Obviously, it was too cold to do that in the February, but I try to do that for every show, or just dance where you are at Gonzo. I found this really cool spot to dance, and kind of capture. And those never really did super well until recently, but I still did them every time. And yeah, it's just fun for me to make those videos. I'm always so out of breath and about to puke after. That's how I know I got a good one.
You and Erica did a really good job. I loved those fisheye lens photos that y'all did outside the Sphere. They were so good.
That was so cool. Yeah, those guys just came up to us and they were super, super cool. And they wrote a really pretty message to us about the photos and what their mission was. It was really cool.
Oh, what was it? I don't know the story.
Oh God, what are they called? I don't know. I should know.
No, it's okay. So it was somebody that you ran into that took those photos?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We were we were filming outside the Sphere, and then he was come over here, do you guys want to take these photos? And they had a whole setup, professional equipment.
Killer.
And then they sent them to us. Yeah. So that was really sick. That was really fun.
I was sitting there
just making those videos with Erica was super fun.
I was sitting there looking through my phone. I was like, what setting were they using? And so that makes sense. They had an actual camera set up. That's funny.
Yeah.
What happened what happened at the Moody Center? I saw your bloody pic. What was that all about?
Oh, that was great. That was such a good. That was the best night of my life.
Was that real?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, hey, I asked my dad right after. I was like, "Did Phish ever make you bleed out?" He was like, "No." But yeah. So what happened was, New Year's was crazy. I started the show by holding up a sign with my friend that said, "Trevor, fuck me in the bass." And he saw it on my story before he came out, and we were like, "Oh shit, he already saw it." So he came out with his head down. Carter's laughing his ass off. We actually saw these backstage pictures that Berta took where they're all looking at it on my story and fucking dying laughing. Coach is dying laughing. Coach is don't talk to them. Naveed is dying laughing. Yeah, that's what happened. But
oh my God.
We had that sign up, and then the Texas people were put that shit down. And then, so New Year's happens. Then they go into this factory. And I'm like, I have so much space. I'm dancing in the front with my fan. I got a really good thatch. So vibes are high. So thankfully, at the last moment of the factory jam, like literally the final peaks they were doing, I'm kind of like head banging over the rail. And I'm really short. So I guess I like slip or something, and I kind of split my chin open on the rail at like the last part of the factory. So, and I have no idea, obviously, that this has occurred. I felt like this pain in my jaw for like 5 seconds. I was like, shit, did I lose a teeth? Made sure they were all there, kept dancing through the end of the song. So the lights go up, and I turn to my friend, and she's like, Maya. I'm like, what? And I am completely covered in blood. No idea. All of a sudden, all the crew members, all the, I don't know, like the people working in the front, the security people start like coming, like rushing me. And I'm screaming for a drumstick from Cotter, which I always did until I got one.
Priorities.
I'm screaming for a drumstick as like these EMS people are like surrounding me. And I saw it on the stream too. They kind of like gave each other a look like, should we bow? Like, so it was a pretty crazy night for them. That was also the Tumble Tits night. So, you know, that was a pretty crazy night for Goose.
Did Phish ever make you bleed out?
Yeah. And they were asking me like, are you in any pain? And I was like, no. And my friends like, no, don't say no, like say yes. And I was like, oh yeah, sorry. I just had a lot of White Claws. But obviously like my blood was really thin. So it looked a lot worse than it was.
Oh my God. I saw the picture.
But
I was
pretty badass. I was like, yeah, Goose hurts people. Like, this is lit.
Oh my God, that's fucking great. What's you got any shows upcoming that you're planning?
Yeah, so we're gonna try to do like the whole August thing because it starts in San Diego and then it goes back to like Red Rocks. So it's like I can start in my home, go back to my home.
Ooh.
So I think it has like Kettle House, Bend, all the shows we really love to hit on the West. I mean, those were the most beautiful shows I saw last year. So we're really excited.
I've never been.
But I don't know how, like, we have like an in-person job now. Like my boyfriend used to have a remote job, which made like going to Goose really easy for us.
Right.
But to move out here, we had to get like an in-person job. So we're going to both try to get remote jobs before that happens. And I also really hope that I can start like vending like food or art or something on lot during that tour. But again, like the lot scene is just so inconsistent with Goose. So you never know.
Yeah, that's funny. I've got a friend, I think Drifter Merch. Lori, who runs Drifter Merch, she kind of said the same thing. It's not like Phish or Panic Lot. It can be hit or miss.
Sorry. Yeah,
No,
I mean, Goose, if it's on the East Coast, there's definitely a lot. The South seems to have kind of a lot scene too. But Man was the best one I'd ever seen, and I think that's just because of the venue and like the Nitrous Mafia and Philly and stuff.
Yeah.
But the Hampton had a great lot too. That was awesome. I mean, it probably wasn't big compared to like Phish lot, but it was incredible, like selection of vendors, and we were all hanging out all day. So yeah, on the East Coast, there's definitely a lot. I think that's why, I was preferring kind of living out in the Midwest and the East Coast because there's always like lots and like culture. And it seems like California, although the Dead is like from California, and I'm sure if I went to like San Francisco, it would be like this, but it just kind of feels detached from the current jam scene,
Interesting.
And like the following happens on the East Coast and stuff, just because it's easier to go from state to state.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to, maybe I'll start some kind of law in California. There's not even a line in California.
Wow.
That San Francisco show at the beginning of like last summer tour, like it was undersold and it was a tiny, tiny venue.
Was that the Warfield?
And then they went to playing the Masonic.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, and they it was small and it was undersold, and like, I guess no one knows about it, like Goose in San Francisco except for like Phish fans that are ready to try like Goose.
Damn.
Yeah, and then like a couple weeks later, they were playing to 20,000 people at MSG. So like,
yeah,
it's just really crazy. Like, it's just crazy. It's just very different.
I love
coast to coast.
I love that Radio City Music Hall one that they put out. That's got Trey.
Oh yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's so Trey's so funny. Just trying to get the rhythm of the words and the parts that he's singing in too.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious. Yeah, that's why my dad loves Hunger Sight so much, I'm sure.
Well, how can anybody want to give a shout out to before I let you go, I know you got shit to do. You're a busy woman.
I'm not a busy woman. That's why I'm posting so much on social media. But
how do people find you on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook?
Yes, at Maya Thatch on Instagram, at Maya Thatch on TikTok. Even though TikTok's kind of dead, and that's about it. I mean, I have a YouTube channel where I posted a couple of my tapes, but I don't really use it that much. That's also Maya Thatch. So if you ever want to find me, it's just Maya Thatch. Which isn't my real last name, by the way. Some people are confused about that.
Well, good. Yeah, you should give that out anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, listen, it's so good to meet you. I love what you're doing. I think that the scene, the quote unquote scene, needs more of what you're doing. It's entertaining, and I think it brings a positive energy. And so fuck the haters. Keep what you're doing, and
thank you so much.
Everybody loves it.
Thank you so much. That really, really is empowering. It really helps. So thank you.
All right, girl. Go have a good rest of the day. And next time we go to Goose, I'll ping and see if you're going to be around for it.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. That'll be great. And thank you so much for having me on. I love meeting you. Great conversation. That was so great. That was a great conversation.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I appreciate you, Maya. Thank you so much.
Of course. Have a good one.
You too.
Relative Maya. We're moving ourselves around. We're out of time. Center of a polar force. We're on a line. To a VCR, we can't rewind. Call it dark brown, call it dark brown, call it dark brown, call it dark brown. Chance. Coach is in the paper. He say yeah, 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 yeah. Traveling through the depths of space. Lateral time. Dark brown, call it dark